Hey there, welcome to my first video in my three-part series on how to help golfers hit the golf ball farther. I spend a lot of time on this drive range working with average golfers and also high-level golfers, and before we even talk about making a swing change or some technical thing that you need to think about, there's three things that a lot of golfers struggle with that is costing them distance off the tee and, to be honest, through their bag. So I'm going to break down all three of them over the next three videos. They're going to be simple in concept. There's going to be an easy way to check if we're doing it or not, in hopes that the next time you play golf, whether you go to drive range or your League 9 or your next tournament, that you're able to see a little bit more distance in your golf game. The first thing that we see, and this relates specifically to driver, is an issue that I see with a lot of golfers is they struggle with their angle of attack. Now, the way angle of attack is measured is when we hit this golf ball, we have an angle of attack that is either a negative value, meaning we're hitting down on this golf ball. We have a positive value, meaning we're hitting up on this golf ball. Or zero, which would be neutral, which means that we're not hitting up or down when we hit this golf ball. But the problem I see with a lot of players when they hit drives that go really high with a lot of spin and don't go as far as they should is because they have a negative angle of attack. So they might be a player where they come over the top a little bit, their club gets steep in the downswing, but when they hit that golf ball, they're hitting down on it. It launches really high, it spins a lot, and doesn't go very far. Part of the reasons why I believe there's two reasons. I believe there's one concept that we're going to talk about here in a second, but another one is also setup. And when we think of this golf ball on a tee, we don't need to hit down on it. The ball's already off the ground. We should be feeling like we want to hit up on this golf ball. So that's why when it comes to setup, we cannot set up to our driver like we do with an iron. And the common thing that I see with a lot of players is when they get set up to this golf ball, they treat it a lot like an iron, where that ball position is maybe a little bit too far back in their stance, and they have a little bit of forward shaft lean, and their shoulders are very level. They don't make the change from driver when they have a driver in their hand opposed to how they set up with their iron. So when we talk about ball position, I like having the ball forward in our stance. If we want to hit up on it, that thing's got to be pretty forward in our stance. If that ball is in the middle of our stance or not far enough forward, as we make our downswing, we're still coming down, traveling down before we start to work up. So for so many players, that's a very easy one. Now, I know that there's technical things to consider, but if we have a ball flight that we don't like, if we're hitting down and adding spin, it's just going to magnify that already. So when I get set up to a golf shot, I like to come in, I like to think of the big toe on my lead foot, and that's actually where I want this ball position to be. I love having the ball forward because what it does, it gives me a chance to hit up on it. Hey there, Coach Ryan just hopping in here for a second. I just want to say thanks for watching this video, and I have a few favors to ask. If you don't already, please make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. The more support, the more content I create. If you like this video, make sure you give me a little thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. I do my best to respond to every single comment. Now, last thing is make sure you hit that little bell so when I drop more videos just like this one, you're the first one to get notified. You don't miss out on any of my content. Thanks again for watching. Let's get you back to your video. In terms of where our hand should be, when a player's too far back with ball position, oftentimes that hand gets forward. So a thing that I like to think about is the butt end of my grip. I've got a red cap on my grip, which makes it very easy. But with that forward ball position, I actually like to make sure that that cap is almost pointing more towards my belly button, not pointing to my thigh, because when I start to get a point to my thigh, now I have a little bit of forward shaft lean, which again is going to incentivize me to want to hit down on it. The third part is how we set up our upper body. We want to hit up on this. We want to launch it high with low spin. And I like to think of setting up our shoulders in a launching mentality. When we have ball back, hands forward, what normally happens as a result is our shoulders are very level. Again, that's incentivizing to hit down on it. But if we combine all three, where I get set up, where I have the ball position on the big toe of my foot, I've got the grip of my driver pointing more towards my stomach, and now as a result, I'm going to feel like that my right hand kind of goes down my leg, so my right shoulder is going to drop a little bit. With these three now, I've set myself up in a way that when I hit this golf shot, I can hit up on this golf ball. Hey, here's a little secret. On every Thursday, I send an email with 2 things. My favorite golf tip of that week, and either a quote or stat, or sometimes even a game that you can use when you practice. I don't want you to miss it. The next one's coming out on Thursday morning. Make sure you check the link in the description. Sign up for my newsletter because on Thursday, the next one's coming. Now let's get you back to your video. So this first video, we're making sure that we have an angle of attack where we're hitting up on the golf ball. And there's 3 keys to do that. We're going to set up with the ball position right on my big toe. I'm now going to make sure that my grip is pointing more towards my stomach, the cap of the grip. And then I'm going to feel like my right shoulder is a little bit lower than it normally is. And now I'm ready to launch. So that one there for me was hit a little bit low on the face, which I don't mind because it's still launched high with a little bit less spin instead of a player that comes crashing down on it and hits it high in the face. So video 1, let's get our angle of attack positive. Let's hit up on this golf ball to get the distance that we want, and that comes from 3 little changes to our setup. We have to make sure that our ball position is forward. We cannot have our hands forward so it feels like our grip is going to be pointing more towards our stomach. And then we drop that right shoulder back, all 3 of those incentivizing to hit up on it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned, because we've got lesson number 2 and number 3 coming out on the 3 things that I think can help you hit the golf ball further before you change your golf swing. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.